my goodness, I just stood here and talked for like 20 minutes. And I didn't have the camera recording. It kind of went quiet now, but I was unloading all my gear. I had my tailgate down on my truck and I was setting everything on there, and I heard thump, thump, thump. I hadn't even turned my camera on yet. So I'm not sure if that's Sasquatch, or if that's grizzly, or if it's cougar. I don't know. We're gonna do 3 things today. We're at the river. We come to the river. It's so beautiful down here. I was gonna build a fire, but as I got down into the river valley, there's quite a bit of a breeze down here, so I'll just leave the fires out. I need to look for something along the water's edge, and I'll explain that when we get downriver. Here, what we'll do now is we'll head down to the gifting site, put some gifts there. I'll let them know that I'm here and that the gifts are there, and then we will head downriver and do a little bit of talking. I'll do a little bit of talking. I need to let you guys all know what's happening. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. All is quiet. Sure. Oh, I hear squirrel up in there, right where we're looking. See, you know, there's always movement. There's always movement there. And Screen Center. In that whole area there. That's where I believe the caves are. Up in there. And I have got some pretty good pictures. Because they move. Every time I'm here, I can stand right where I am, videotape that area for a few minutes, leave, do what I have to do here, and then come back to the exact same spot and zoom in up there, and everything there shifts, changes. And I swear they move and then sit still. Move, sit still. I really, really do. And I've been seeing, there's been many times I've been here where we've seen a lot of orbs come out of there. Come out of that, right out of that spot in the screen center, that whole area there. Orbs. And they come right from out of there and towards me across the river. Pretty amazing. Always. Oh my goodness, okay. That was screen left, coming to me from the left. Okay, I got something to show you here. That's where I heard the noise coming from too. I heard you. I heard you. No, I'd quit. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I missed it. But that's where I heard the sound, and we'll go up in there. That's where we gotta go anyway. It's gorgeous, or vocal. Okay. Alright, we're going up. Okay. Okay. Everything's gone. One whole crabapple left. One whole crabapple left. Much more. That's a well. I think every time I come back here from this point on to winter, there's going to be, all these leaves are going to fall. This bowl will fill right up. It will fill right up. They didn't touch the little willow wreaths yet. I'll leave them here. They do things, I tell you, on Bigfoot time when they decide. When they decide, right? Okay, I want to show you something. Can you see them? Where are they? Oh yeah, they're there. There's two there. Two breaks. Two together. Try not to be shaky here, but I don't have my tripod on the ground. I'm holding this camera up off the ground. But yeah, that's only 40 feet from the bowl. See, if you look at those, you see them there, and you just come, the bowl is right here. You never know. Each clan could have its own likes and dislikes, right? But I mean, all the apples were gone, but that one whole one and one, and I think I brought maybe 6 or 8 the last time I was here. Okay, I'm here. Just give me like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I heard walking too. Maybe they're on this side. On this side. That's exactly what happened the other day when I come to check on the bull. I had just finished putting the gifts and I start walking out and I could hear big heavy footfalls coming. So give me a minute. I've heard that at home at the gifting bowl. I've heard thump thump running, coming up close in the dark. Of course, it kind of freaks you out because you can't see nothing, but you hear them. And I've heard one run right up. Give me a minute, you guys. Or you could come closer. Okay. But yeah, it kind of freaks you out because you can't see nothing, but you can hear it, right? You can hear it. You can hear it. Well, you're not being quiet. That's good though. That's good. I'll literally be out of your hair in 5. Out of your hair. I can smell them. Okay. And last but not least, some dried cherries. Okay, there we go. There we go, there we go. Okay. I think they're excited about it. Okay, that's good though. Here we go. All kinds of goodies. Yeah, see, nobody touched the willow wreath, so I'm just gonna take a gander back there. Okay, it's here for you guys. I'll leave you be. I'll come back soon. I'll come back soon. Okay. Squirrel. Squirrel. See those brakes behind me? Back there. Yeah, kind of amazing, right? Okay, I'll come back. See, that's what happened the I came here just a few days ago to check on the mole, and I did leave some gifts here, and I was like, right now, as I was walking out, I could hear thump. And then before I even left, I got out here and walked to the river and went and spent some time at the river, for maybe like 10 minutes. That was it. And before I even left, I could hear eating over here. So yeah. Oh, I'm sure they'll be there before I even drive away. I'm pretty sure. I finally figured out how I'm going to do the thermal, that infrared, little thermal infrared camera. I'm going to do it separate from my visits like this. So now, say if I come down here and did the gifts and walked around, talked, communicated with them, I think what I would do is maybe go downriver and away from my gifting sites and use that little thermal infrared camera, just to not disturb this, right? Any of this time between myself and them. They're very, very structured, routine schedules, which is very good. I mean, people should do that more often. Like, children do really good with structure and routine and schedules, eating times, sleeping times. They do better. They do better. Okay, here we go. I will be back. Oh, I didn't even want to go home. Well, okay, I'm not going home yet. We're going downriver. We're gonna go downriver. Oh, but it is nice down here. Lots of leaves starting to fall and turn. Pretty soon it's just going to be all yellow and orange and red. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. There was those footfalls, those walking at the gifting bowl. See, that's what I heard when I got here. When I first got here. Okay. I'm gonna turn my camera off and we're gonna head downriver. I gotta travel about 2 miles. It's another spot that I always stop. It's beautiful there as well. Yeah. I just heard it. Right there behind me. You know what? Every time I've come back here, remember where I filmed that little guy in the trees right here? I hear something there every time I come back. I don't see anything there right now, but yeah, every single time I've come here, visit here, I hear that. I hear the noise right there. All right, folks, I will see you in a bit. My battery already went. Wow, that was fast. That was a full charged battery too. I got 2 more, so don't worry. See you in a bit. All right, folks, we made it. We made it to we made it downriver. It's so beautiful here. This is another one of those places I wish I had a cabin. My father used to have cabins all along this river. He had trap lines, right? And we used to spend a lot of times along this river, possibly 20 to 30 miles upriver. That's where my father had his trappers' cabins. And when we were out in the trees, we learned how to survive in the trees. So we're very familiar with the bush. We're very familiar with the animals out there and what's out there and what noises each animal makes. And When you hear Sasquatch, when you hear a Bigfoot, yeah, you can't really mistake it for much else. Doing their vocals and calls and whoops and when they talk, that language they speak, or what are the words they speak, the sound just carries, especially down in the river valley. Especially down in this river valley. Even the thunderstorms and lightning and thunderstorms that come through the river valley, they're so loud, but amazing at the same time, right? I want to update you now on what's been going on, the White Birch Bigfoot Clan. So I get home, very strange and weird. This was very strange, but I barely remember driving home. Just bits and pieces of it. I barely remember the trip home, and that's over an hour's drive, almost an hour and a half driving home, and I hardly remember any of it. And then of course I spent, like I said, 2 or 3 days just on that emotional roller coaster. It wasn't until I got my feet, like I say, I want to thank Nuss, and there's a few others that come on board that reach out. I can't name everybody, but Nuss, when I spoke to Nuss, he grounded me. He just was able to do that, and he just helped me put my feet on the ground. And it wasn't until then was I able to step back, reset, and then that is when all the things start coming forward, all the pieces. It was like a puzzle, right? And then all the pieces, and then the vision and the dreams started. Every night, sometimes 2 a night, they start coming. And I don't think, if I wouldn't have come out of that if I wouldn't have come off that emotional roller coaster, if I wouldn't have got off of it, I probably wouldn't have got the information that I received, because it was too, it was just, when you're emotional, you can't think rationally. So the first dream that come in, I was being, and I'm going to use some visuals here. It is literally, when these things happen, these visions and the dreams, when or the Sasquatch, when they come forward and they come to you and speak to you in your sleep, in your vision. I remember being so tired the first night. I wasn't tired, and all of a sudden I was tired. Like, I was tired. I needed to lay down and go to sleep immediately. And this is how these dreams happen. And it was just seconds. Within seconds, once I put my head on my pillow, I went into this deep, very, very deep sleep. And it is literally like going into water and going down into the water, into darkness. Not like a blue darkness, not a dark, cold place. Just a darkness, and then all of a sudden you come out into the vision, into the dream. And that's what happened. I come up and I'm walking through the forest where those arches were, and I feel a female presence here. It almost felt like my mom, which was interesting, but I don't think it was, because I could see her here. It was very much Sasquatch. It was very much a Bigfoot, but it was female. Then off further to the on the other side of her, to the right of her, down in that valley where the hill kind of goes down, there's a valley there. I could see this big male walking. But when I would look, I couldn't see him, but I could see him on my periphery, right? On my peripheral vision, I could see him. Very big, very big. And we're walking through that forest where the arches were. And if you all remember this break that was behind me back in the trees there, it was in the dream. It was all of a sudden, it was there in front of us, and I heard a name. She spoke it. This female spoke the name, and it was Koi. Oh, it was very much deeper. Koi. Koi. And so I said Koi, and she said again Koi. And I just kept repeating it, and at the same time, he's moving more into sight, this big male that's down in the valley there. And then I immediately, I'm coming out of my sleep, and it is like coming back out of that water, and and as I'm coming awake, I'm saying this name out loud in my house. It took me a few seconds to come fully awake. And then once I'm awake, I'm thinking, koi. Isn't that like a fish or something? Or like a Japanese pond fish or something? I actually asked a couple of the subscribers. I told a couple of people about this, and it is. They one of the subscribers sent me a picture of a koi fish. It is. I'm sure he's not named after a fish, this koi fish. And how she said it was a little bit different than the way I could say it. But, they probably do say it differently in their language, in their voice, with their own voice. Because it did sound different than the way I could say it. It was like my mouth and the tone and everything couldn't get to what she was doing. But I think she was satisfied with how I was pronouncing the name. But that big male that was in the dream down in that valley off to my periphery, his name is Koi. Okay, and the break, that's his break. I understood that. It was all coming through in that dream. And as I woke up, it was like the pieces were just falling into place. Anyway, I was starting to see a picture, right? Things were starting to make sense. Okay, here is the interpretation. He removed all the arches and left his own structure, the break. Because when we come onto that break, that was when and I'm looking at the break and I'm noticing him and I sense her and she said koi, and I was made to kind of glance over at him. This female was directing me through this whole entire dream, right? This female Sasquatch. This is a new leader. Was another part of what comes through in that dream. He is the new leader. And the second vision, the second dream was along the same lines as the first. Again, there was a female presence there and a male this time on this side. It's like they were both there kind of leading me, guiding me through. We were again walking, and it wasn't the same forest though. It wasn't the same places where the arches were, and I don't even it wasn't either on the side where the gifting bowl is. It was a little bit different back in there. The trees were a little bit different, and the whole area back there, it was similar. So it's obviously up in the same area, same location. It was just in a different part of the trees, and I heard moaning, crying, mournful vocals in that second dream. What she was conveying to me was they don't like change. It's hard for them, but they'll adjust. That's what he was saying, the male. They will be okay, was how it was coming across to me. But she was telling me they don't do well with change, with things that are changed, or he was like, I think all of you guys were right about the majority of the things that you guys were feeling, picking up on, thinking. I think the fires, not with that clan, not with the White Birch clan, but a lot of the fires, I'm sure there are clans in those areas, and they're displaced. They would have had to have moved and left the areas. And maybe they are doing, like I said earlier, maybe they are doing what we're doing. They're taking in other clan members in some of these other groups, right? Until they can reestablish their own territories. But this one here, when I heard the mournful vocals, they were very much what I heard there when I was there just before I was leaving to come home. They've lost one of the members, and they weren't specific, and they weren't. I didn't get the feeling that it was the leader, or that it was one of the leaders. I think they lost one, and there was a shift in the clan, and it would be very much like, it reminded me of my animals, my boar, my South African boar does, like especially the does. You'd think that if the matriarch, the guard goat, the matriarch, say, passed away or got sick or got injured, that the one next in line would move to the top. but it is never what we think. My sister and I have raised them since 1995, 96. And she got started before I did. I jumped on board. Pecking orders, right? We always called it a pecking order. And one of the head goats, your matriarch, we lost one time, and you, like I say, you'd think the one next in line would move to the top. All of a sudden there was a fight. Literally one of the bottom ones, the ones that were at the bottom. She never got choice food. She was always the last to get the grain. They would push her away from the mineral. All of a sudden, this fight happened after we lost the matriarch, and that little one, she fought her way, and all of a sudden she was top. She was at the top. Which reminded me of what I was feeling from what they were sharing with me in that second vision. They did let me know that they lost one of the members, and this young male stepped up. He moved up. Koi is his name. He's moved up, and he's leading this clan. And this was what she was talking about, the change. There's a whole shift there, and they got to adjust. They will change along with them, because that's what I was conveying to her. Okay, I'll change with you. What I understand to this point, there's a new leader. They did lose a member, and this new leader's name is Koi. He is about 9 feet. I'm guessing this because of the break that he left. It's about a 9-foot break, and what we understand with the breaks that we've learned over the many years that we've had experiences with them, it's kind of an example of the height and size of the individual who made it. Right? He's a big Sasquatch. He's a big Sasquatch, and he's got a name, and his name is Koi. It's a beautiful name. Okay, the third dream, again, I had that female presence there, and we were back at the break where the arches were. She was kind of conveying the message, almost telepathically, like it was just more feelings, and it was like, it's crazy when you experience this, because it's like you're thinking with them while they're thinking and speaking, and I guess that's what they consider mind speak. To me, it's just how I communicate with Sasquatch, right? They've always communicated with us, myself and my sister and my mom, through these type of visions and dreams. So that's how we've always, I mean, it is what it is. I've never labeled it, right? I've never labeled it mind speak, but it is very much like that. They're in your mind, and you're kind of in theirs, and you're sharing thoughts and emotions and feelings. And what came across in that dream was, I have to communicate with him, with Koi, directly. I have to go to him, and in a way, I have to put my head down and accept his leadership. Another thing that came through this whole process, he did growl at me. He did grunt and growl and hit me with that infrasound. I had people saying, oh, it was a bear. No. If you were there, I imagine you would have probably dropped to your knees. The camera, of course, again, it doesn't do this justice, but when I'm standing there and that he threw that growl and roar at me, I think I just heard a vocal. I'm wearing a lapel mic. I don't know if that picked it up. But anyway, yeah, these are not, I know the sound of bears and grizzlies and cougars, and when you experience Sasquatch vocal, no, nothing compares to it. Nothing compares to it. And it was, he hit me. What he was doing, okay, what come across, all of this stuff fell into place. Like I said, the pieces of the puzzle just kind of start falling into place. He basically was standing his ground, posturing, letting me know, hitting me with that, his power. If I didn't know what was going on, or if I didn't know what that was, the infrasound, I probably would have freaked out and ran, jumped in my truck and took off out of there. But I knew what was going on. I knew they were back there because I was hearing the wood knocks, and I had heard a whoop, and then this roar. And if you go back to episode 1, when I'm talking about the infrasound hits to the camera and to me, listen very, very closely. On 2 of them, you can hear he's doing that vocal with the infrasound, and at me and at my truck and probably at my camera, because I was feeling it, but it wasn't overpowering. But I think he was already at that point. When I first got there, he was making himself known, and then when I was going to go back in where he destroyed all the arches, he really let me have it. But I needed to go and see. My heart, it was already, the emotions were already coming through it, and I just needed to know. And I was supposed to witness this. I believe I was supposed to see it. They allowed me to see it and experience it. They came forward and did all that, and I think it has to do with, that part has to do with me and him making an effort to stand his ground and let me know who he is, what he is doing, and he's changing everything. I believe he's removed all another one of the things that came through, and that was the empath, me picking up on things, was that he removed all the structures because he's going to rebuild. It's going to be his now, right? It's going to be his group. I imagine we'll see some new structures pop up. We'll see. But he left the one. And that was his signature break, to say, I'm here now, this is mine, this group, I lead this group, and you will address me. You will address me. Yes, second vocal. I'm going to switch mics here in a second. I'll just film around here a little bit. I did mention to the group up there, I'm headed downriver. If you want to come downriver, I'll be there. And maybe they showed up, because I've heard 2 vocals here now while I'm sitting here talking. Plus the ravens, they're busy. I don't know what's going on. There's like 6 or 7 of them flying around here. They've been singing the whole time I've been talking. And before I turned the camera on, they were flying around here, diving, and they do this kind of dance. I call it a raven dance. They're in the air, and they hang on to each other's feet, and they just kind of tumble, and then they let go, and they go back up. It's beautiful to watch. I tried to film it, but I don't think I was able to capture it. They're moving too fast. But anyway, so that is what I know. So to sum it up, they did lose a member. They do have a new leader. He does have a name, Koi. Koi was how it come through in my head. He's removed those arches. I don't understand yet what the arches signify, what importance they have, but obviously they're at a level where they are able to remove them. And he removed everything and left his own mark, just like marking his territory, just like a wolf would, or a bear, or a grizzly. Grizzlies will go and they'll scrape a tree with their claws down a tree. And it's interesting because them too, they will start, when they stand on their hind legs, grizzly bears will start at the height of their head and come off that tree and scrape the tree. And you can tell how tall that grizzly is by the height of the scrapes on the tree. And I think it's very similar to the Sasquatch breaks. As I said, he's a big Sasquatch, he's a big boy. And we will address him. And already, it's been a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, and I'm already thinking of the White Birch. I haven't even thought of White Birch. I've been thinking of Koi's group, Koi's clan. It's so interesting how it's happening. And I think I have one to my right now. I can see. I can see something there. Anyway, I will film over there in a little bit. I kind of have an idea of how I'm going back in. And I'm going back in with knowledge. I'm going back in knowing. There's details, right? There's details, though. They won't, I don't ask for those either. And if they shared them with me, then that's fine, but I'm okay with what they've, I mean, oh my goodness, it's a lot. They've shared a lot. So there's a shift, there's a change. And I will go up. And the last dream I had, and we'll get to the last dream I had, I was whittling. I was carving. And that's why I'm here today. And I wanted to come here today to do this. I had a piece of driftwood. And if any of you, if there's some that don't know what driftwood is, it's wood that has been along the river, the water's edge, or a lake, and it's been constantly wet and dry for eons, forever, for years. And it's very soft, and it's easy to whittle, it's easy to carve. And that's what I was doing in my dream. And I was carving this little Sasquatch. I was carving this little Bigfoot out of this piece of driftwood. And again, I saw that forest where the arches were. So that's what I'm here. I'm here to find one. I'm going to whittle. I'm going to carve a little Bigfoot. I don't know how good of a carver I am. In the dream, I was good. I was so good. My carving looked amazing. I don't know. I'll try to do as good as I was doing in my dream, hopefully. But I am going to carve koi, a little Sasquatch, made out of driftwood from the river. They don't have a river up there. I think maybe this group wants to send it to them. I don't know. That just came to me just now. I don't want to read too much into it, but it was a piece of driftwood from the river. I knew that in the dream. And like I said, I know now I have to go address him directly and connect with him directly. And what I'm going to do, where he left his brake, that's the first thing I'm going to do when I get there. I'm going to start my truck. I'll grab my camera. We'll go in, and I'm going to go straight to his structure, and I'm going to gift him there. I'm going to take a piece of bark, and I'm going to use it as a bowl. I'm going to give him a whole bunch of crab apples and gifts there, and then I'm going to set that little carving, and I will let him know I get it. I understand. I'm going to address him by name. I know he is leader, and just recognize that, right? I was told I need to do that. So, and there you have it. I had to scramble for a battery. All my batteries went dead, and I said, yeah, see, the Bigfoot that was there is gone. But they answered me. I was like, are you guys here? Because my batteries are going dead. I heard, I heard a vocal. Okay, so, but anyway, where were we? Okay, so that's what I know. We will follow instructions. It's good because I know now where I need to be, how I need to do it going back in there. I know what I need to do going back in. We're good to go. We're good to go. Anyway, yeah, two of my other batteries that I brought, one lost its power very quick here, just all of a sudden bang, and then I went to put in the third one, which was fully charged, and I stuck it in my camera. It's dead, and it was just sitting here like I hadn't even used it yet, but it's dead. And I charged all, like I always do. I always charge all my batteries up before I go anywhere. This is the last battery. It was the first battery I used, and it's in the yellow, so we have a little bit of battery power left. On to the next venture, right? Wood knock. On to the next venture, right? Wood knock. I know the mic picked that up. That was behind me, way across the river. I just lost 3 batteries while I sat here, so I'm thinking they're close. It's what usually happens, right? It's what usually happens when they are near. They do affect the batteries. We know that. We know that it happens too often to dismiss. I will sign off there. 7 Creeks. 7 Creeks. Everybody take care, and I will see you in the trees. Bye.